Hello, everyone, and great to be back with you on the show. Can't believe it, but we're nearly coming up to the end of our 2 days of MEF Connects Wholesale 2023. This is the penultimate session with regards to panel discussions, and the next one will be with Susie, looking at the whole area of customer service, customer support in the whole world regarding wholesale. And it's a vast topic, and a topic which absolutely impacts each of us. But before we get there, we're going to have a topic now which has been alluded to. It was mentioned in the previous session. It's been mentioned in other sessions and referred to, but we haven't gone into detail. But that is about to change. We have 45 minutes together to look at the whole topic of communications platform as a service. Now, CPaaS is one of those things that's talked about so much at conferences and by so many people. You also hear of omni-channel communications, cloud communications providers, etc., etc. There's so many acronyms and technical terms thrown around. But what does it mean in real terms? What is the potential for wholesalers? But what do wholesalers need to do to be able to truly benefit from the power of CPaaS? And we have an absolute fantastic panel to learn all of this from. So first of all, I'd like to welcome Carlos DaSilva to the show. Carlos, hi.
Hello, James. Thanks for having me.
Hey, good seeing you. We've got a very, very international panel today. You're joining us, I think. I can see you at home, so that must mean you're in America.
That's right. I'm in Northern Virginia, next to Washington.
Fantastic. So a very warm welcome, Carlos. If you could just introduce yourself very quickly and what does PCCW Global do?
Right. So I'm Carlos DaSilva from PCCW Global. I'm in charge of the mobility products, which covers roaming IPX and SMS, but also APIs to serve other products like IoT connectivity, so on and so forth. So all that actually we look at with the grain of salt and the future of CPaaS in our view, which is more data focused and API.
Fantastic. You're going to be talking about that area specifically. We've talked about that as well. So that's going to be a nice angle to cover. Anyway, joining us also from India, I think we have Shikha.
Hi.
Yay, I told you it was going to be all right. It was just, yeah, you got here. Fantastic. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us, Shikha. Joining us from India. So we've got Carlos in the US. We've got you in India. So if you just introduce yourself and your company.
Yeah, sure. So this is Shikha. I'm from Airtel Global Business, looking after the international messaging along with the roaming portfolio for Airtel.
Fantastic.
And
that's
Airtel,
rather
a
a large portfolio. Yeah. Lovely. So great that you could join us for this conversation. Thank you so much. Next, we've got someone else who's been in industry a very long time too. I think if you added up between us all on this panel how long we've been in the industry, you would get to over a century. Shame on us, but there we go. We've got Mr. Eugene, or Gene, as he prefers to be known, Pradas from BTS. Hey, Gene. Hi.
Hey, James. Well, I guess I'm 40% of that, but
I'm 30% of that. So that means Carlos and Shikha have only done 5 years each or something. Yeah.
My first question is that phone behind Carlos, does it still work? That's what I'm curious about.
It does work if it was plugged in, but if you see, I have like this little apple with an MVP sign because I suspect it was the MVP of the iPhone. So that's the
okay. Well, it's great to be here. Great to be here with my fellow panelists. It's a great discussion because, as you alluded to earlier, the definition of CPaaS can be varied between everybody who speaks about it.
Oh, it's been stretched, Gene. It's been stretched.
It's totally. But I'm in the strategic area with BTS, and we are a global technology solutions provider, working with emerging services, also legacy services as digital voice or the A2Ps, as well as cloud numbering services, platform services. But basically, we cover the world, and really glad to be here with you guys.
Fantastic. Are you at home in Spain today?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So thank you for joining us. Next up, we have Ahmad Kasia from Monty Mobile, Sales Director.
Mr. James,
first of all,
I miss you. Long time, indeed. Hello, everybody.
A long time. Last time was in Dubai. So lovely that you could join us. Lovely that Monty is
Thank
part
you,
of
James. Thank you for having
now.
this opportunity. Yeah.
No problem. So if you could introduce yourself, who you are. I know who you are. You know who I am. But many people don't know who you are, who Monty Mobile is, where you are, what you're up to, etc., etc.
I'm based in Beirut, part of the Middle East. I'm with Monty. I manage the wholesale aggregation at Monty Mobile. And interesting to discuss about CPaaS and what's going on behind. So let's see.
Fantastic. I think I'll be seeing quite a few of you on this panel or your companies next week, but we're not finished yet. I like stuffing my panels with experts and people who know the industry. Last but by means not least is Mr. Ehsan Ahmadi, CEO and founder of Vox Solutions. Ehsan, hi.
Hello, James. Thank you for having me here. Hello, everyone.
No problem. So if you could introduce yourself and your company and let us know where you are, because you are literally a moving target between countries and I never know where you are.
I'm quite involved in many in operation, so I need to move to different offices where we are operating. This is Ehsan Ahmadi, founder and CEO of Vox Solutions. We are mainly focused on monetization solution, firewall, SMS, voice, helping mobile network operators to monetize their voice and SMS assets, and more. I mean, we are working to from different angles to see how we can help mobile network operators to get the best out of their asset, and at the same time support different use cases that are coming. I mean, enterprises definitely they see value in mobile network operator infrastructure and connectivity, and I mean, eventually we're going to see more M2M in the future and so on and so forth.
Well, we're going to be coming to that. Don't want to steal someone else's thunder there, Carlos.
No, I know that.
Yeah, we're going to come to that. Don't give the game away. Don't give the game away, son. Yeah, but there we are. But good to have you with us. Thank you very much. Now, let's get to it. CPaaS. If I each gave you 30 seconds to explain CPaaS, I think we would have, well, probably 6 different answers, including mine. But let's start from the top. Carlos, what is your definition of CPaaS? You might have just gone to Google and researched it, or using ChatGPT. I wonder actually what ChatGPT says. To give me 10 definitions of CPaaS, what does it say? What's your definition in practical terms for the audience? Because remember, we've got a very, very varied audience. Many might not be super familiar with the world of business messaging. So simple terms, what does it actually mean? You're on mute. Yes, it's not just me.
It's difficult to put that in 30 seconds, but I will start by saying
you're allowed longer. Yeah,
the audience needs to. It's good to differentiate CPaaS and just communication as a service. So communication platform as a service. The service is the platform that enables enterprises, customers of this platform, to consume communication services through APIs. That's how I define it. When you don't sell the platform, so when you only offer communication as a service, then you're actually selling these communication elements, which can be SMS, phone calls, and whatnot. So very often there is a confusion between CPaaS and CaaS, and some companies that are more in the CaaS, they're offering the SMS, etc. They're not offering the platform. They might be using one, but they're only offering the messaging service. For instance, they're a CaaS. They're not a CPaaS. So I think it's good to redefine. I like to redefine it like, are you offering a communication platform or a communication service?
But for the purposes of this session, I'll allow the wider definition. So we'll go with both, because so often CPaaS is confused or mixed in with omnichannel as being one of the same thing, but they're not. And dare I say it, there is also UCaaS, Unified Communications as a Service. And don't forget either contact center as a service and then network as a service. Just too many services these days. Shikha, what's your definition of it? Would you agree with Carlos, or any extra details to add? You're on mute as well. So you don't laugh. It could be you next. It could be you.
No, it should show. It doesn't. When you're speaking, it doesn't show, so you forget.
No problem.
I agree partially with what he's saying. To us, being a mobile operator, I think we're all in different spaces. We are a mobile operator who works with our enterprise customers, and CPaaS for us is enabling our enterprise customers to reach out to the entire customer base. They want to in different ways they want to. So that is the way we define CPaaS. SMS is one of the channels. Definitely, yeah, you have voice, you have call master. There are different products and services you can add up on that. But it's basically to define as reaching out to the consumer base you want to address in different ways. Through a platform. Yes, you connect to a one common platform and it serves all your needs.
Perfect. Now, Ahmad, on multi-mobile, so many companies came in the CPaaS space or business messaging space came from the world of wholesale, and many, like Ehsan's company Vox Solutions as well, like BTS as well, have a very long history in the world of voice and then moved into messaging. So when did your transition at Monty Mobile start? From obviously you're very, very big in the world of wholesale and everything, but then you're also looking at the enterprise business as well. When did you start doing that?
Okay, James, before I answer your question, actually, our business model in the A2P SMS world is that we own it from end to end. So we are directly connected with the OTTs. And the second end, since we have our in-house firewall as well to monetize with mobile operators, we have some exclusivities in different regions of the world. And that game was playing it in a fair way for everybody, for all the entities. We just recently started to see the drop in the SMS in general. And I believe everyone in this panel should agree with this fact because of the omnichannel and the CPaaS, which is becoming the dominant, offering the enterprises other options to deliver and interact with their end users as the gentleman defined it in a single unified platform. So because we are interacting with OTTs, with enterprises, we knew the trend and the change, and we start to act with the market shift. Basically, in 2023, we just launched the CPaaS, while in 2022, we're setting the plan to move into offering the different flavors for our enterprises to communicate with their end users.
Was this your own solution, Ahmad, a Monty Mobile own solution, or you partnering with someone else for that?
It's our in-house, a kind of our in-house plus a part of acquisition, if I would say it in that way, because it's a combination of both. We got the technology from a partner, but we built it up and we added the other channels inside it. And we've seen a huge demand of the CPaaS from enterprises from different regions because there is a lot of requirements. It's not about only voice. It's not about SMS. RCS is there. Different OTT messaging platforms are there. The push notification is there. So you have to be up to the technology when it comes to CPaaS, definitely.
Fantastic. You're reminding me of a slide I did for you guys when I presented at one of your events years ago in Dubai, where I listed all the channels in omnichannel. And I think there were 14 different types of channel I came up with. So plenty to talk about. Gene, Ahmad opened the door there to talk about so many channels involved in CPaaS and communications. But as we say, and I've used this phrase a couple of times through the course of the 2-day show, you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And at the end of the day, so many companies who are in CPaaS, they still derive a huge amount of their revenue from SMS, and that will be the case possibly for the next few years. Can I just ask you your take on that? How big is SMS within the CPaaS space? And from your perspective, with how the SMS market is changing, as Ahmad was alluding to, is that change going to be very rapid now? So the power of SMS will wane rapidly. What's your take on it?
Well, I mean, CPaaS has changed significantly, from the simple SMS and APIs originally. Today, it's really focused on, helping businesses around the world create better customer and employee experiences, and that way increasing revenue and decreasing expenses and also increasing optimization. Okay, when we talked about the definition that Carlos gave and some others added to it, together it's really the end question is to have the better experience. And how do you get there? Whether it's networking, messaging, video, APIs, etc. As you know, email is still very big.
Gene, do you know what? That's a good point. Over the course of the 2 days, I think I mentioned it in one session, but no one else has touched upon email. So there's some very, very large messaging players, some of the largest in the world, have made some very big acquisitions in the email space in the past several years. So it's still huge. So very, very good point.
Yeah, it's still used. And the other part that's interesting, and McKinsey came up with some reports how the young people are using more and more services such as CPaaS related managed services, which is a good thing because they are using less and less email. And as we know, when it comes to the voice side, young people really don't speak as much, they text more. So there's a transition in that whole focus. All right. And CPaaS has come up, and the big area of growth is definitely enterprise, as was mentioned earlier. Enterprise is getting more and more involved because it offers solutions, user cases like restaurants, booking a table. They allows them to staff employees, a whole set of things that SME type businesses are really going to take more and more advantage of what CPaaS and its features and benefits have to offer. So that's a growth area as well.
So when did BTS start its journey into enterprise?
Well, we've been in some parts of enterprise for at least 15 years. We're mostly wholesale oriented. Okay. But on the enterprise, we're very much dealing with retail operators who are really our prime customer base. All right. We've been in the A2P business for about almost 7 years now, and it's actually taking on a much bigger part of our business. Although, the voice, everybody likes to talk about emerging services, and it's really good, and it's happening. Like the CPaaS right now, it's very much embedded. The fact is that after the pandemic, it looks like the usage of online services has doubled before the pandemic. So there's more and more usage on online services, which CPaaS is a great reason why that's there.
There's an inextricable link between the two, for sure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Gene. So, Ehsan, bringing you into the conversations, I know within your business, you've done the reverse of what quite a few people have, insofar that you've pulled, I think, totally out of the wholesale business, and your focus is now on the mobile network operator sphere and on the enterprises. Can you tell us what the reason for that was? And can you tell us as well about from your perspective, the journey from moving from wholesale ultimately into enterprise? What are a couple of the key things you're having to do within your business?
Yeah. Basically, everyone knows here that when you're in the wholesale, you have to deal with all sorts of the routes. Sometimes gray routes. You need to stay competitive. You need to buy from right to sell to left. You don't know what you buy, from whom you buy exactly. You keep testing, monitoring, but time by time, someone getting in the routing, tickets, problem, complaints. MNOs blame wholesalers that you bypass us. Enterprises blame wholesalers, you do this and that. So we decided just to pull out and say, okay, good. Look, we stay with MNOs, help MNOs to monetize their asset, and we stay with enterprises wherever we can offer 100% quality end to end. We are there. Anything else, we are not there. We are not offering, and that's it. So to finish this blame game of that was in the wholesale market. So this was the base of the decisions, and today we just work with enterprises mainly, and with the mobile network operators, and we try to facilitate SMS, flash, eventually other services that mobile operators is going to launch, and we can be a bridge between enterprises and mobile network operators. And at the same time, we make sure that the security is there, integrity is there. So we come also with a layer of security, especially for use cases that security is mandatory, like 2FA, mobile identity sort of use cases, and so on. So this was the reason that we pull out, and we focus on this side, and we also focus more on technology rather than just trading of the minutes.
But Ehsan, within your business, you've obviously been in the world of wholesale. Lots of people within your business have been in the world of wholesale. How did you start addressing the world of enterprise? Have you had to retrain people? Is it a skill people have had to learn, or have you had to bring in people who are experts selling to enterprises? Because it's a very different skill. I personally have found selling to an enterprise than selling to an aggregator than selling to an operator.
What I like to add that is what was hard to pull out, because we had more than $100 million revenue in wholesale. So it was quite hard, and we had some good profit, not big anyway. In wholesale, the profitability is low, but still was hard, and we had first to change our mindset, change our team mindset, and then go back and a little bit from what we learned from wholesale to educate enterprises, to explain them, look, whatever you see that is cheaper is not as cheaper, because eventually there is some fraud involved that costs you more. And if you see, I personally even write more than 20 articles in the last years regarding exactly this aspect, trying to educate enterprises to understand better the wholesale market and all the
okay, that's clear. So thank you very much, Ehsan. Very, very clear. Shikha, I'd like to bring you back into the conversation. As a mobile operator, clearly you've got quite literally tens of millions of mobile subscribers. I don't know, how many subscribers do you have in India? Just out of interest.
Around 350, I think.
350 million.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I think most people watching would be rather proud to have 350 million people in their country, never mind just subscribers. So yeah, congratulations for that. So you've got that audience, and clearly you've got your amazingly strong brand name, which allows you to penetrate the enterprise space. How have you within Airtel approached the enterprise space? Have you been able to reskill wholesale people to also sell enterprise solutions? Or have you personally found in your teams of salespeople in particular, I'm interested in, for enterprise sales, that you've had to bring in enterprise sales experts?
So, the enterprise sales is handled by our enterprise team. And the customers they deal with are, first of all, existing customers who are buying other services from us. So historically, if you look at the business, there was SMS which we were selling to our customers or to aggregators. But customers do buy other services from us, like mobile connectivity, etc. So they wanted us to be a part of the value chain, because we are the most trusted partner to give them services directly to a mobile customer. I'm talking about for India as a market, more on the domestic side, because this discussion of CPaaS can be very different when you talk about a domestic play versus the international play, which we all are talking about. So the play for domestic is very, very different. You have to go to the enterprises, and the sales team has to sell messaging or the CPaaS as a service. They have to be skilled. So we did not bring in other people from outside, because the existing account managers which we have who manages the enterprise customers are the ones who sell all services to them. So from what we do is we have product sales specialists who accompany the account managers and help them sell the service to the customer. So if it's a bank, or if it's say in India, we see a lot of digitization. So when we were talking about the volumes increasing after pandemic, the entire country has moved to digitization. There is seldom use of cash. So if you move to big cities, I don't carry my wallet anymore. My phone works everywhere. I can make payments from my phone, right? So you don't need, so all that, when you make a transaction, you get a message back saying this transaction has been completed. That still for the transaction point is still SMS as a channel. The promotions and the marketing part is moving towards different channels which are more interactive, right? So that is moving there. And the customers came to us that why are you not in this space? Why are you not selling us? Why is a third party, an aggregator, coming to us and Airtel is not in the game? So we went to
and that's an absolutely fantastic point, because mobile operators have historically not been in the game and therefore opened up the field for so many other players, and many of which are MEF members, and we have some sitting here right now with us on this panel. So yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah, so we went into that space and we developed our own platform, which gives, other than messaging, you have WhatsApp as a channel, we have numbers, we have call masking, and the entire contact center solution, which is slowly building up the platform to cater to the needs of our customer base, which is huge in India, and we are the largest enterprise player in India. So we have the right to win those business from the customers directly, and that's the way we built our CPaaS platform. If you call the logical CPaaS service based on that.
Fantastic, thank you very much, Carlos. So you described very eloquently right at the beginning what CPaaS is, which was very, very good. Fantastic definition from my perspective. Now, can you just explain where you personally see CPaaS going in the near future and beyond?
Yeah, absolutely. And so if we look at CPaaS and the technology behind it, so it's an API-based, or it should be an API-based consumption of communication services. But the technology is just a technology to what we sell, and what, especially in the wholesale side, what we provide is a service, and we provide a service to an enterprise, to a party to whom we tell, you connect to me once, and I'll give you communication to the rest of the world through several channels, even though you connected to me once only. That's enough. And then on the other side, we go talk to the receiving party, either different channels or different MNOs, and we tell them, you connect to me once, and I will collect traffic from you from thousands of enterprises that need to reach your users. What really we offer as a service, we use the CPaaS technology to do it, but what we offer is this transit service. We remove the complexity, and we enable the reach from one enterprise to the world, and one MNO to get thousands of enterprises. If we were not here, then thousands of enterprises will need to sign thousands of contracts, manage different, and with MNOs that will need to sign thousands of contracts with enterprises, different laws, it just will be too complex. So the core of what we do in CPaaS is really to bridging these two worlds. And that's what we've been doing for voice, that's what we're doing for SMS and multi-channels and messaging. But if we look at what else needs to talk, what are the other services where you need to have a service that say, I need to talk to the world, and you have on the receiving side, I need to be receiving requests from the world. One option there is IoT devices. So you have IoT devices that need to make requests or receive requests to servers that are around the world, that can be hosted in Cisco in one case, on Airtel on another one, and et cetera, et cetera. And this needs to be secure. You need to respect the legal commercial contract so you can establish these requests. You need to respect security, authorization, et cetera. So you have a lot of things that need to happen to enable these communications to be successful. And you'll probably make it on a usage base, so you need to count how many requests to whom, to price them differently, etc. So again, this is very much what we've been doing in CPaaS in the past, and I think that is one of the future options in the future. So already IoT space, and this is a growing field. The other very nascent field is everything we look at database servers that need to request information from other servers. And if you look at this, at the camera project in GSMA, which is API-based, so MNOs opening services to the external world, and the external world here is thousands of enterprises, thousands of partners. Are they going to sign contracts with thousands of enterprises and partners? No, they probably do it directly in their domestic country, but internationally, it's unthinkable. So who are the providers that are going to bridge this gap for all these APIs between MNOs and the rest of the world? And again, this is, if we were to remove SMS, voice, etc., and were to define what needs to happen there, we will be putting the definition of CPaaS. And that's where the future is going.
Okay, very eloquent. We've had a couple of sessions about IoT, and we had a very, very good session about eSIM, and the fact we've got eSIM now is really pushing IoT. But it's a very interesting take that IoT should actually be viewed in relation to CPaaS. Ahmed from Monty Mobile, I think if my memory serves me correctly, you're doing some stuff with IoT as well within your business, aren't you? I think.
Yes, we have a subsidiary at Monty Mobile that works, because we have also launched our licensed FCC licensed eSIM, and we have our IoT department that works very closely as well with the mobile operators. But I believe we just started with the eSIM, so now it's running and operation very smoothly.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that's something new, but that's a really, really good point that Carlos made, that there's a lot of potential moving forward for IoT to be viewed within eSIM. And if you're thinking of enterprises, particularly larger ones, just the scope there for the traditional messaging channels, all the messaging channels you mentioned, Ahmadi, including push and everything else you mentioned, but to bring IoT in there, that could be some nice potential growth. And it's just another way of looking at it. And if you're from the world of wholesale, that's exciting to be able to offer that to your enterprises, surely.
Yeah. You know, James, what Carlos mentioned is really spot on. You know, service providers are embracing standardization of APIs, and, you know, initiative like you mentioned about the GSMA, the Open Gateway, it's really, you know, connectivity between network providers. And that's a key element which wholesale provides into this whole space, you know. Well,
let's roll with this. So, Gene, thank you very much. You got a question from the audience. Why do you think, you can see it in the chat from Scott Warner at SNBTS. So, Gene, I won't let you answer this because this is one of your colleagues. So, why do you think enterprises are working with wholesalers rather than going directly to MNOs? Do you think wholesalers have a different DNA to an enterprise provider? I'll start with Ahmad first. Why do they come to wholesalers, aggregators rather than MNOs? Why do they come to you guys?
Simply why we are here. Why we are here and why you have this job, right?
Exactly.
Wholesalers usually, and we like our job, and this is the beauty about our job, that we really fight on the daily basis to get the best rate with the highest quality, which is every big enterprise look at. How you get the best rate? Now, there is a lot of tools that you can get the best rate. Probably one of them, as we do, we prepay some aggregators or some operators, and we invest with them in different services to benefit from the cost, so we can have a better commercial deal and win the traffic. Wholesalers simply, if they want to send their traffic to the A to Z global price list that we have, they should connect to the whole world, which is not possible. So logically, they have to connect to wholesalers or aggregators to own or open the key to the A to Z price list or to the world, right? In addition to the exclusives that we own in some operators, our job is to connect directly to mobile operators, to the group of operators like Airtel.
So it's this focus, it's the focus which is for you the key differentiator. You've got that focus. I'd just like to bring in Ehsan and Shikha in. But first, Ehsan, you pulled out of wholesale totally. And so just looking at that question, why are they working with wholesalers or aggregators rather than the MNOs? Why is it that the MNOs for such a long time have not really seized the fact that they have an amazing strength of brand names, and actually they should be doing something in messaging? Why has it taken this long from your perspective? You're on mute. You're doing my trick. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, this is the question. Eventually, Shikha can respond. But I think for mobile network operators, was not their core business so far. They were more focused on the consumer business and retail. But definitely, it's a great opportunity for them. For us, as I said, we couldn't manage the quality well enough for A to Z, so we decided to stick to 15 mobile network operators, and we are growing that we have direct or sort of deals with them, and we can secure the.
So it's that focus for you. It's the focus you're able to bring, which is critical. Lovely. Thank you very much, Shikha.
James. Okay.
Sorry, Carlos, go ahead.
No, I was just going to add, sorry, it's also a math question, right? A math answer. you have on average 4 MNOs per country. So if you are an enterprise that needs to send SMS just to your country, then you need to negotiate 4 contracts. And when you establish an SMS connection, the thing that takes the most time by far is the contract. So domestically, it's 4 contracts. 10 countries is 40 contracts. The world is 800 contracts. It's just a math answer.
It's true.
You ease the complexities.
That's it. Well, look, when SMS started off 30 years ago, you could only send an SMS to another subscriber in the same operator, and then it was in the same country. And then Cineverse came along with its hub in the US, with Metcalf and everything as well. And the world of SMS hubbing really took off, and we are where we are. Fast forward 20 plus years. But that's a very, very good point. It's the practicality, and this is why obviously hubs exist. This is the point. But Shikha, Ehsan made a very good point. The fact that business messaging only makes up a tiny part of the revenues of most mobile operators, maximum really 2.5% from what I'm seeing from various statistics around the world. So it's a small part. But was it literally, as you mentioned, the requests from your clients saying, hey guys, why aren't you doing it? Thought, actually, we need to do this. So it really was your existing clients in different areas that spurred you into doing it.
Yeah, so there are 2 kinds of operators. So I would just like to split it up into 2 kinds of operators. One is countries where operators are doing enterprise business. See, messaging is only one subset, right? If I am in the enterprise game already, the enterprise is doing messaging. They connect with aggregators, as Carlos mentioned correctly. They want to send messages to all the operators in a country. I mean, let's talk about a country first. The reason why they use an aggregator in a country is because they give them connectivity to all operators. Second thing is the enterprise has no way to segregate traffic, which operator the number belongs to, right? They do not have that. They will send, generally, if you look at if I come to the international side, there are big enterprises, there are big OTTs. For them to route traffic for a mobile operator specific number ranges with MNP built in, etc., is a challenge. Locally, it's a nightmare, right? So if we talk to banks, they can give you all traffic or they can give you no traffic. If you talk to them about banking traffic going outside India, they will give you all traffic. They have no way to segregate. That is the reason they use aggregators. That is the first.
Sorry about interrupting, but we've only got a couple of minutes to go. We've received a question. I like this question because I suppose the answer is going to be, it depends. But let's go to Ahmad very quickly from a multi-mobile perspective. What is the typical timeline for deploying CPaaS to an enterprise? Any idea?
Less than a day.
Okay, so we've got less than a day.
If you have the right tools with you and you are able to connect, I believe it's a matter of. I mean, it should not be in that. Questioned in that way, a typical timeline, because you have the tool, you have the system,
it's the knowledge from the enterprise as well for that connectivity. Absolutely. If they know SMPP Definitely. Or whether you need HTTP. So, Gene, would you say it's really rapid as well from your perspective?
Absolutely, but it's also, again, it goes and depends. What is the service within the CPaaS that the end user is looking for?
Very good point, because sorry, we've got to roll here really fast. That's a really good point, because for certain services, if you're wanting to integrate WhatsApp business messaging or RCS business messaging, you actually have to fulfill some templates. You've got the onboarding of each channel. It's the same for Apple messaging for business as well. And that is the limitation in terms of time. So technically, all the guys here with their businesses could do it in double quick time within a day. But the reality is, if you wanted more than plain voice and SMS, it would take longer. And the last few words from Ehsan. We'll start with you very, very quickly. We've got a couple of minutes extra because it overran before a couple of minutes. So I'll give you an extra couple of minutes, folks. You're lucky. Last comments. What is the future of CPaaS like? And if a wholesaler is not involved in CPaaS today, Ehsan, what would your recommendation be to them? You're on mute again.
Yeah, there is, I think the market is not, I cannot say saturated, but it's not early stage either. So they need to find an area that they can bring value. There is gap, there is some needs that were not filled by other players already. and to
it's the
focus.
focus. So it's the focus for you. It's the absolute focus. Don't just go, yes, we're starting to offer it and we're offering everything. Have a focus. It could be focus on what channels to bring in, depending on your audience, and where you do it. Fantastic. Carlos, last few words from yourself. What would you recommend to wholesalers at the beginning of this journey?
To actively combat fraud. Fraud has been growing in the last few years. Yes, nobody in the industry will claim to be a fraudster. There is no tools to identify fraud and make people and companies accountable. That leads to the industry to get more dirty and drive customers away. So the best advice is fight fraud within the industry. And
Shikha, advice from you to other mobile operators who may not necessarily be doing as much as you guys at Airtel in the world of CPaaS. What would you say to them?
We would advise them to get into the CPaaS business within the country. I would not say international is the game. The future lies in the domestic play, because there is no increase in pricing, there is no artificial generation in the domestic side. So that is where
you would say that in a country with 1.5 billion people. If you're in Monaco,
even
it's slightly different. Yeah.
Even if the others, see, in smaller countries, I understand there is no play, but wherever there is, like in countries where there is a decent population, there are decent enterprise game. In those countries, definitely there is some this play should be a part for the mobile operators. They should get into it.
Thank you so much. And Ahmad, I'm going to leave you with the last words for the panel. So what would you be saying to companies in the same industry like Monty Mobile who haven't done anything with CPaaS yet? What would you say to them?
Well, I'm a fan of A2P SMS, James, as you know. So, and SMS is well established.
We both know that. We're having an A2P SMS love-in, folks. Yeah. Sure.
Yes. And you know that SMS really is a well-established technology that will continue to provide the CPaaS vendors with the majority of revenue for the next couple of years, right? But still, the enterprises would love to look for varieties, and they would like to terminate their messages into different channels. Due to the AIT, as they mentioned, due to the price increase in different countries. So as we said, the game is changing and you have to be up to the level. So the CPaaS should be there. I believe it's 10-20% in the market right now, but it will gonna grow in the next couple of years, and it will be the dominant platform. The A2P will be small part of the CPaaS indeed.
I agree. So Ahmad, I'm not meant to have an opinion, but I do agree with that one. So I agree with all of you. So first of all, approach things. If you're not doing anything, you're a mobile operator, get into the business, partner with someone from a technology managed service perspective. Do that. That gives you faster time to market. Start domestically. Great advice from Shikha. Carlos, great advice and insight from you. The fact that the world of machine to machine and IoT needs to be starting to be thought of in the same sentence as CPaaS. Gene, great advice from you as well. You guys have come from the SMS world. You've been in SMS for 7 years, but you understand the opportunities enterprise and the growth is providing. Ehsan, from you, we've got focus is the key word I take away from you, and it's absolutely great. And Ahmad, again, we heard it from you just now, but don't forget A2P SMS. And anyway, I'm sure we can talk about that more in person next week. Everyone, thank you very much for joining this show. To my speakers from around the world, from India, the US, Spain, Lebanon, and Ehsan, I've forgotten where you are again because you're everywhere, but your international location, fantastic having you with us. And I look forward to seeing many of you in person next week in Croatia. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.
Thank you, James. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Bye.